Hello everyone, welcome to Rob's Rogues, and today for the people of Gotham we are taking a look. There's my cheesy Bane impression. This is Rob of Rob's Rogues, and today we're not taking a look at Bane, we're taking a look at what he is standing on. And if anybody has seen my Facebook post recently, will know what he is standing on. He is standing on the Tumbler. This is the Walmart exclusive for the Dark Knight Rises DVD release of the movie. I will show you the box as I about dump it here. Oh, as you can hear, I just activated one of the features. If I can get the box in frame here, you can see the only at Walmart. This is a huge box. If you would like to get a better look at the box, I had a picture of it. You can see there's Batman right there getting into the cockpit, and the now famous Dark Knight Rises, if I can move the camera a little bit, Dark Knight Rises logo. A really huge box. If you'd like to see a picture of the box as I dump it, go to the Facebook page and you can take a look at it. This is something that I have been eagerly wanting ever since it was first released for the Batman Begins movie back in 2005. This is the purple version, which I believe was actually the first version released for Batman Begins. But this is such a cool car. This was released in 2005 for Batman Begins originally, and then they did like a Movie Masters version for the Dark Knight with an all black. It had less of the sound features and the red buttons that you see up here. There was only one button, so it didn't really have any working sounds on that. There was an all black version for Batman Begins and a Battle Damage, so they've released a couple different versions of the car since its first initial release, and I was kind of hoping that they would release the Batpod for the Dark Knight Rises, but I'm glad they released this. And what makes this also a little different than the first initial release for the Dark Knight, they included two figures. They included a Batman and a Bane. Now, these are not the Movie Masters version. You have the little tiny 4-inch version of the figures. Let me raise the camera here a little bit. And then you have these kind of 5-inch figures. I still kind of call these the Genera figures, or the generic figures. So I have the actually Batman Begins Batman here. He's a little dusty at the moment. So the Batmobile was actually, or the Tumbler was actually made for this Batman. So they kind of came up with these figures to be able to kind of work with the Tumbler, as it were, for the Dark Knight Rises. And then if I show the Movie Masters Batman, of course, obviously a much better detailed and a bigger figure and closer to the DC-UC size figure. So you can see the difference there as Bane's off in the back corner. Here is all three of them that I have. So this Batman I do not think is going to work and sit inside the Tumbler, mainly because of his plastic cape. I would like to get another one of these Batman and put a cloth cape on him, but I'm not going to cut the only one I have right at the moment. And then it does come with Bane also. So of course, as you can see, the far superior one here is the Movie Masters, and then this kind of generic figure, which I think is probably closer to the $7 to $10. You can get some of these in your local stores. They do have a surprisingly good amount of articulation for what they are. Arms go all the way around. Head is in a 360. Bend at the elbow. No wrist, no waist. Legs go up slightly, and a bend at the knee. And that's about it for these figures, and Batman is exactly the same way. Now, Batman does have a turn at the waist in this particular figure, so he can turn his head 360. I like the cloth cape. I miss the days of the cloth capes. It gives you a little more realistic in your figures, so I think some people have gone through and started cutting some of these capes off. I kind of want to leave one nice and then hopefully get another one. Maybe he'll be marked down now. that I can do that with. So a decent little Batman. I'm probably not going to have him really... I could have him standing with this tumbler and it would work, but I think for my figures, I'll probably stand the Movie Masters with it. So basically 2 little figures, not a whole lot to go over, just a standard figure, and pales in comparison to the Movie Masters. You can just definitely tell all the other extra detailing work, and even though this is an all black figure, you can see some grays and other shadings of black in it. So a nice little touch. The face sculpt is really good on this Batman. He looks pretty good. The Bane, the white that they used for his mask, it just really makes this figure look cheap and cheesy. The vest, it's a really kind of a cheap figure. I mean, if you have the 2 side by side, there's no comparison which is the better figure, so I don't think many people bought these. A nice little gimmick to throw in a figure. The price point, as I move these figures off to the side here, the price point of this Tumbler is $50. So that is kind of steep, and they're kind of using it like, well, you're getting 2 little action figures with it, but I bought this yesterday for $24.97. So this Tumbler right now is part of their rollback discount. So if you missed the opportunity to pick this up, I believe Walmart usually rolls the prices on all of their stuff, generally about the same time if there's stuff that have been peg warmers. The Dark Knight Rises hasn't been out all that long, so I kind of find it interesting that this particular toy has been marked down, but the Batman figures have been on the shelves for so long that I think Walmart is saying, okay, all the people that are probably going to buy them for $50 are probably done now. We need to move some product. So the price is starting to drop. So if you missed the Batman Begins or you missed the Dark Knight, this is your probably last opportunity to pick it up at a store for a really, really good deal. And I think it's a steal at about $24. And maybe if you wait longer, maybe it'll go down a little bit more. But generally, a manager that I know at my particular Walmart is a good friend of my wife's, says once the cent sign reaches 97 cents, that is the lowest that the price will go. So if you see prices that are like 94, if they're a even number, he says that's an indication that if they don't sell the quantities that they want to, they will drop it again. But once it hits the odd number and cent sign, that is the lowest it'll go. So there were only 2 of these on the shelf, and I thought, well, maybe I'll come back in a week or so. And I was not going to do that again and miss out the opportunity to get this very cool Batmobile Tumbler. But it does have some very cool features to it. The cockpit is really pretty cool, as you can see. Kind of bear with me here as I slide the camera up out of its tripod. Some nice space in there. You can actually see the missiles. I think it's going to be tight to get the Movie Masters Batman in here. Might be kind of cool to have him just standing up in the middle of this. You can see the other missile off to the side. I even think the Batman that they gave us, he's going to be pretty tight to fit in here also. I think the Batman Begins, which this was actually made for, will be the better seated figure. We'll have to kind of see. So, and now we can get on to some of the gimmick things that this Batmobile does. Readjust the camera here, bear with me for a moment. Put the cockpit down, and I like that you can see into the cockpit. Nice rubber wheels, and they spin very, very well. They could have done a little extra shading and detail in here. That would have been kind of cool, but these wheels in the back are also rubber, and they are 2 separate wheels on each side. It's not just one generic wheel that they did. They're 2 separate wheels, which I think is really kind of cool. You can see the thruster there. Both of these move very well. So the back fins, they don't move independently like some of the Hot Toys do. There's a little bit of slight rotation, but I think that is just in because this is all one plastic piece, so that's why they move a little bit. In other variations, when they categorize this as their movie masters, they kind of painted some of these pieces in gold and gave it a flat black to match the movie. This is a dark purple. I'm okay with it being purple. It would be kind of cool if it was all black like it is in the movie, but again, I think this is really, really cool. We have 3 buttons on the top here, if you can see those. And the directions are not very good on what they do. It's just a generic Mattel direction sheet. As you can see there's the missiles, the 2 figures. Just a real generic setup. Underneath of the tumbler, there's the switch. You have on, off, and then kind of like a stationary, which it doesn't say what the X does. The O is off, and the X should be on. So the only description is right in here, and it's basically battery replacement. So this is one of those that is you're going to have to kind of figure out and play with it as it goes. There's nothing really on the back at all. It's just more battery information. Says, I like the warning down here. Warning, do not aim at eyes or face, only at that's kind of to read here in the thing. Projectiles supplied with this toy do not fire at point blank range. So if you shoot your eye out, that's your own fault. We've warned you. Still very, very cool. Now we'll get into some of the features here. Get out my little handy dandy guide here. So we'll go down to the tires here. So if you look here, the first button up at the top on my right, your left, I don't know if it's picking it up here on camera. Looking through my lens, it looks like they're purple down here. But in real life, it is showing as they are red. With the light hitting on it, it really brings out the purple in the tumbler. But with the lights off, it does look more dark as it should be. The back of the tumbler, turn this around for the other feature. And now it's going to be my right again button. So that's a really pretty cool effect. Again. And I like that there's sounds with this version. The Movie Masters version was painted more accurate, but did not have the sounds to go along with it. And then the final button is the one in the center. We'll go something. Let's make sure I get the camera backed out. Goes a little something like this. And I think that is really cool. The lights light up; they stay on for a little bit. So, other than the Batman Forever Batmobile, this has been the only other one that has lights, and the lights stay on as long as these are out. These fold back in. There, the lights went back off, and then the left side of the car canopy, when you push this in, you get the redocking of the arms going back in. I think this is really, really a very cool piece. This has been one that I kicked myself for not picking up back when Batman Begins came out, and then when The Dark Knight came out, I really wanted it too. Didn't pick it up because the price point was a little high then. I think it was probably still around the $30 or $40 mark. And then when The Dark Knight Rises came out, I saw it at Walmart with all the other DVDs that they kind of had them displayed around in the toy aisle. Had quite a few of them sitting there. And with the $50 price tag, my wife was like, that's just really expensive. She's like, I know you want it, but you know, we may have to wait and see if it goes on sale. So when it finally did go on sale, I hopped at the chance, and there were only 3, I think 2 or 3 left. I think there were actually 3, and I'm really glad to have gotten this. Let's open up the canopy here, and we'll get out the Batman that came with the Tumbler, and we will put him, try to put him on camera in the car, which I think is going to be a little bit of a chore to do. Kind of what I feared, that this Batman does not want to sit in the car. His feet are pretty well scrunched in as far as they can go. So, you know, we got this nice, little bit bigger toy. Kind of see his feet down in there. This is something I'm going to have to kind of work with to see if I can get him inside. He doesn't want to sit in very well. I'm not going to fight with it on camera, but I'll take the Batman Begins Batman and see if I have any better luck, since he is a tad bit smaller. And this one sits in just a little bit better and does fit in there. So this particular Batman is going to be a real pain. I bet if I really had to squeeze him in, I could fit him in here. But the Batman Begins Batman works very, very well. I'm kind of curious what the other, if I turn the switch the opposite direction, if it does anything different. That seemed like it was a lot shorter burst. Yes, that's what it is. It's a duration. And the sound of that going in. So to make the sounds a little bit longer, you flip it to the first position. Runs much longer. And then, of course, the lights stay on. So this is really pretty cool. It's I can see, you know, them reusing pieces over. It's a nice little feature. For this particular Batman, you're going to have a really hard time. The one that he came with this Tumbler, he and Bane are going to have a hard time setting inside there. I think it can be done, but it's going to be a little tricky. The Movie Masters, I really do not think are going to fit in there. I'm going to try this Batman one more time, as I do see the canopy kind of slides back. Yeah, he's really going to have to get scrouched down. There. You really have to kind of squeeze. That is so cool. You really kind of have to squeeze his legs to get both of his legs in this first part. So he does fit in there, barely. So if he barely fits in there, the Movie Masters Batman is going to have a very, very hard time getting in this Tumbler. I can't even fit him in because of his, you know, cape. So maybe if I pick up another one of these guys, I can cut this cape off and put on a cloth one. But for nothing else, for displaying the Batmobile, the Tumbler, I will have my Movie Masters Batman standing here, or could reenact a little bit of a scene, even though it's not the camouflage version, to have Bane standing on top of. I just think this is a really, really cool piece, as Batman kind of faints there. It moves very well. I just think this is really pretty cool. So I have many Batmobiles. Most of them are still kind of in storage. Digging out the animated series, I kind of wanted to show size comparison. I think I will do that once I start the animated series portion. But if you missed your opportunity, run to your local Walmart and pick this up. They are marking them down. Like I said, I paid $24.97 was the listing price, and of course you have tax and everything like that. So when I picked this up, I picked up some milk and bread, and my total was $30 and some odd change. So for those three things, that's not bad. Being able to pick up basically a $25 Batmobile when just a few months ago this was selling at Walmart for $50. Granted, you are getting 2 figures along with it, but they are kind of toss and throwaway figures. Now this Batman isn't all that bad. You could have him posed with it, but I think this Batman just looks so much better standing next to the Tumbler. So that is going to do it for me. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. This is one of the first times I've bought a vehicle in quite a while. Since the very beginning of my channel, I had bought one other Batmobile, so this is only really the second video that I've featured a vehicle on. It's all basically flat. It's kind of shaded in purple, so other pieces on here aren't colored like the Movie Masters version, which is basically the same. They went through and colored the gas caps, took out 2 of these buttons here. They don't make any sound. The buttons are black. So kind of geared towards, I mean, some kids with the bright red and to let you know, ooh, these buttons, these are things that you push. I think for the adults that were buying it, we could have just had purple buttons or black buttons. I think they probably should have just made this in black and been done with it. The purple looks kind of cool. I'm not really knocking the color. I'm more excited to actually have the Tumbler on its own. So very cool, Mattel. I like this a lot. Again, this may be one of your last opportunities to pick this up without trying to pick this up on eBay, and this thing and all the different variations. There's a battle damage version, an all black, like I said, a Movie Masters version from the 2 previous films that can get a little pricey on eBay. So if you want a nice Tumbler, nice and cheap, head to Walmart right now, $24.97. Not trying to plug for Walmart here, but this is an exclusive only to Walmart. You're not going to find it anywhere else. So hopefully you've enjoyed this. As always, we'll get Batman up here. We've been taking a look at the Combat Assault Tumbler, as it's called, that came with 2 bonus figures, which we can kind of forget about those guys. Put up your Movie Masters figures, and they're going to look really cool standing next to it. The Tumbler, Walmart exclusive. As always, this is Rob for Rob's Rogue signing off and saying we will see you guys next time.